Hi everybody, Turbo 200R4 saga goes on and on. Tonight we're going to talk about checking clearances and hopefully not running into a couple of catch-22s that, if you're not careful, can cause you a lot of grief down the road. I'll show you what I mean. Now, automatic transmissions, or any other mechanical device for that matter, are made up of a whole bunch of castings, mechanical parts, aluminum parts, stamped steel parts, and they all have to interact with each other. So, of course, machine variances and tolerances are going to say that they're not going to always be the exact same measurements. They could always be off by a few thousandths of an inch. Now, how this is taken care of is the manufacturers use devices called selective thrust washers. On this unit, just to give you a little bit of a demonstration, here's one of these thrust washers. This one sits against the back of the front pump. Which then, of course, slides up against the shaft in here. And sits back against the running surface in the back. Now, if these are set up too tight, it's going to starve for oil in the back, in between these devices, and glaze and burn them. They literally start to melt these things. There's some sort of phenolic plastic. I mean, they'll take a pounding, they'll take reasonable heat, but they won't take it if there's not improper oiling going to it. This is the transmission I told you that I have for parts, really. It's pretty much serviceable. But you can see, I explained to you, sometimes you need 3 arms, that the front pump, the stator support shaft, is pretty much worn out. You can see the splines on it. So this one had to come apart in either case. I was hoping that I could use a thrust washer for the subject transmission that we've been talking about all this time. But it turns out it was a smaller washer, or thinner. But anyway, the thing is, it seems like with these you have to be careful because you have a snap ring on the end of this particular device. That's what gives you a lot of end play. That's what I thought was giving a lot of extra end play, and the thrust washer was no good. But I just double checked, and it seems like this is just normal play. I'm in between a snap ring and the input turbine shaft that sits against the overdrive planetary assembly. So the proper way to check the clearances on these is to stand the transmission up on its tail and then pull gently up and then measure your clearance as such. So there's little things you got to watch out for. I mean, it's good to be able to catch these things, and it's sometimes a learning process, and if you don't do these things all the time, well, then you always have to check and double check, and don't always figure that you know it all, because a lot of times you don't, and you can't be so proud as to not want to check the book and just read up on these things and just see how they work. Anyway, thanks for watching. Just another lesson in, I guess, just being human, and well, hopefully everybody can learn from all sorts of stuff like this. Thanks.